Good morning, everybody. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm LeVar Ellis, founder of the Dad Chronicles movement, and now the host of the Reach Podcast radio show here at GMT Radio on www.GMT Podcast Radio. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We're looking to have a good show this morning, and this show is where every show reaches beyond the ears of the listeners. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. To get started, this is my first show, so I want to do some thank yous this morning, if y'all don't mind. So I'd like to, of course, thank God first, man. First and foremost, all the praise goes to him. My in-guest studio is my lovely mother, my backbone, the person who's been there for me, obviously, since day one. I appreciate you being here and appreciate all your support. I want to thank my kids. Y'all are my motivation and my why. Nextly, I'd like to thank my sister, man, Mika Diamond. I appreciate you, for being this unforeseen force and support system, and somebody I can count on has been a catalyst to a lot of this. And Mama P, you stand right behind her, so I appreciate you being there as well. Miss PNN, you just got all the news, so I appreciate you. Roy Dillard, Life Jackets Movement, D-Jets, I appreciate y'all. And then, of course, here at GMT Radio, the radio crew, I appreciate y'all for having my support, just letting me know that everything was going to go good with this show. So we're trying to get things started this morning. And then thank y'all for the support, too. I don't know if y'all can see the shirt. Shout out to my coach, Coach Brown. I appreciate you for all my branding materials and my marketing materials, man. I appreciate you, and y'all can get at Coach Brown on Instagram, and I'll give you some of his details later in the show. Coach Smith, Coach Sin, I appreciate y'all. They are my support system spiritually, and they just been with me, rocking me for a while, man, all the way back to Little League, so I appreciate y'all. And then my crew, the fellas, especially my cousin, Redio, Tyrone Walton, Steve Prayer, Joe Harris, Ron Harris, and most importantly, my brother Peanut. I appreciate y'all, man. And the rest of the crew, if I didn't say your name, you already know I appreciate y'all's support as well. My donators, Miss Peaches, Miss Shelly Harden, I appreciate you, Miss Soki. And then, of course, my chess club, man. Shout out to all the people who come out to my chess club every Sunday, supporting, being there, getting involved with the movement. And so I appreciate y'all as well. Especially there, Miss Crystal, Miss Angel, Nick, Doc, and Coach Chip. I appreciate y'all. And then just want to do a couple mentions before I get started. Of course, this is all about order and decency. You got to do everything the right way. So it's a few people that I just wanted to mention that's been down since day one and don't really understand the importance of their role. So shout out to my first kid, like I like to call him, Germani Wright, Miss Onika Porter, Michael Joseph for instilling the idea of the chess club, Miss Crystal Evans for doing the first female interview, and then again, the World Youth Foundation, who has been really, really, really big and been a big supporter. I appreciate you guys, and Miss Karen. Thank y'all very much. And then shout out to the chess club. We are going to be going out to the U of H game this weekend, so I appreciate you guys for staying in contact. Excuse my notes. Again, this is the first time, so, I just want to make sure I do everything correctly. So what we're going to talk about, a lot of things. The point of this platform is for me to, is for me to talk about things that I feel are important in regards to the way of the world these days, and then just the important role of men that we play or that we're not playing. So that's what the purpose of this platform is. And of course, we'll have other conversations, other discussions, but that's my passion, that's my movement, that's my heart, is to display, honor, highlight, raise awareness to what it would look like if men would do just a little bit more. You could be the best man in the world. We all have room for improvement. So that's the idea of what I have going on, in addition to giving back to the kids, being a mentor, being a support system, giving them the chance that they don't have normally without the type of support that they would need. So with that being said, I like to talk about my dads of the week. That's something I'm going to do every week. This show will be every Thursday from 11 to 12. And I couldn't decide on one person. So again, I had to go with some people that have been supporting me and that I know are some dynamic men. So the first two people that I want to give my dad of the week to is Coach Smith again, Brother Smith, and then Coach Brown. Again, we go back to the days of Little League football with my son Dalen and their sons, and I've just been watching these guys for a long time, man. So this is something that I want to do. If we talk about what men do more than we talk about what they don't do, then it'd be a better world. So I just want to salute to you guys for being the men of God, the men of honor, the men of integrity, and then just the men that are out there in the trenches with not only your kids, but other kids as well. And just having the well-being of the youth in mind, which is very, very, very important. So I just want to thank you guys for doing that. So just wanted to shout that out. Some of the things that I've been doing, it's been a journey, and I appreciate everybody who's been part of this. And it started with just an idea. Dad Chronicles was an idea again to just raise awareness, and so it's moved in a bunch of different ways, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. And so just this week, just to kind of catch everybody up, we've done some things as far as going to last week, me and Mika, we went to the Combined Municipal Campaign, where we were there actually raising funds for World Youth Foundation to be able to continue to give these kids resources. We went to the Find Your Path Career Expo at the NRG, where you have this building full of high schoolers who are there trying to figure their way, or they may already have their way figured out. But we're there to give them, again, more resources, give them ideas, give them a platform to where they can pursue those dreams and know that they have a support system. And then also this past Sunday, part of the movement is, again, we've opened it up to little girls, because it's not all about just young men and boys. So I took 3 young ladies to the Tea Party. Shout out to Dr. Shonda Jackson Dean for that event, which was great, and these young girls enjoyed themselves. They had their tutus on, and it was a real live tea party. So saying all that and bringing those events up, because it's important that if you can't do a whole lot, there are a lot of little things that we can do to give back to these youth and make sure that they understand that they are loved and they can be loved on, and they have the opportunity to do some things that they don't normally have the opportunity to do. And then also moving forward, we'll be going to this after school provider event on Friday, I think it is. And if you do things like that as well, and show these kids that there's other things to do instead of going home and just sitting on the couch, that's something that's great as well. Give these kids the opportunity to do other things. So if you know of any people that provide aftercare services or resources, just make it be known. You can hit me on my inbox. You can email me. You can go to the YouTube page now. This is the Reach Podcast Radio Show. Find me on all social media platforms. Not on Twitter, but you can find me on the other ones, and also the YouTube page. So appreciate that. The convo for today is going to be men stepping up and what changes would be made and what does that look like. That would be the main topic of the day. But before I get into that, for everybody that's hating, it ain't nothing changed. You see the hat on my head, you see the hat on the table, you see the cup on the table. For all y'all that don't know, it's H-Town versus everything, So we got the Astros going to be going up on Game 5 today. We already know that game is won. We will be advancing. And if you think otherwise, keep it to yourself. And we got the Texans coming hard this week. We're going to be winning that one too. And again, if you don't believe that, keep it to yourself. But no, and we're waiting on these Rockets to get started. So we're going to talk about a few different things each week. We're going to have some nice little topics to talk about. And again, this week's topic is going to be men stepping up and what changes would be made. How does that look? Is one of the things I want to talk about. But before I do that, it's something that I received special from my brother, and I want to read that real quick. So my brother's name is Milton Hubbard. We call him Peanut, and he's an artist and a poet as well. So one of the things that I want to do just to pay respect to him and tell him how much I appreciate it is, again, my movement is called Dad Chronicles. So I had hit him up a little while back, and I was like, bro, I need you to write me a poem, because, he can write a poem about any situation, and we're going to bring him up here one day. He's working. I wish he could have been here to read the poem himself so y'all can hear it in his words, his voice, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. He told me to do it for him. But he named it Dad Chronicles, of course, obviously because of the movement. So here it goes. So it's called Dad Chronicles. It says, Dad. Notice this was the first word I mentioned. Able to take any and every child and pay close attention. Doing all and beyond whatever it takes. Kind, loving, loyal, etc., and never being fake. Reconstructing little boys and girls. Organizing their minds and getting them ready for the world. No matter what, fellas, we need to show up. In order to save our youth, all dads need to step up. Because any man can be a father. We all know that. LeVar Ellis, founder of Dad Chronicles, and that's a fact. Enough with you losing our youth, so let's put it on mute. saving their lives is my vision and every dad's mission. And I just thought that was pretty powerful to, be able to just rattle off something like that and encompass all the things that, I have in my mind in regards to how any man can have a child, but it's going to take a real man to step up and nurture that child. And so going back to my topic at hand, my platform here, and I know the truth hurts, we all can be better. We all can do different. No doubt about that. But my mission is to just rattle some ears and rattle some chains amongst our men in the community and let you guys know that I stand with you. And I hope you guys feel the same. You can stand with me, because what we need to do as men is just be better, because it all starts from the head. And again, the word says do everything in order and decency. And one thing about me, my lifelong scripture has been Jeremiah 29:11. And what that says is that, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and hope in the future, not to harm you. And so if you just believe in that and you're faith-filled, then you already know that God has a plan for you. And no matter what happens, that his plan is to make sure that you succeed and that you're prosperous in all you do. So if we're intentional about the things that we do, there's nothing that can come against us, because we already know, not to be cliche, but the word says the battle's already won. Victory is ours. He's already went forward and he's given us the victory. So if we're intentional about the things that we're trying to do, then there's nothing that can come down upon us, and then we can cast out all things that are against us. So going back to the poem, if we just choose to take any and every child and nurture them, just no matter what it may be, man, you could take a kid some lunch, give them a pair of shoes, buy them some shirts or clothes or whatever the case may be. Of course, everything starts at home too. So, you want to start with yours. And we all have different scenarios and different situations that we've been in, but it's never too late to do better, to be better, and to want to make that change, not only for yours, but for all the kids that you come in contact with. Because it is true, the kids are our future. Again, not to be cliche, but that is the point at hand. And so it's just been placed upon my heart and upon my spirit to, there's other men out here that's doing great, don't get me wrong, but it's just been placed upon me to just make that movement a little bit louder, and to rattle chains, like I said, and to shake up some ears and to make sure that everybody understands that it starts with the man. So in order and decency, if we step up as men and we take care of our homes, if we take care of us first, if we give ourselves the opportunity to be not necessarily role models, but just somebody that people can model themselves after, you never know who's watching. That's something my mom always told me. There's always somebody watching. So what type of influence do you want to have? Do you want to be a negative influence? Do you want to be a positive influence? And again, the next thing I want to talk about is legacy. What are you leaving behind for your kids? What type of things are going to be said about you as time goes on? So when you start with the man and we're the head, if we are doing everything that we need to do, and I've talked to a few ladies about this, I love seeing the woman power. I love seeing the women movement. But in my opinion, the reason for that is because a lot of men are not doing what they need to do. So we're leaving our sisters, our mothers, our cousins, our aunts, our grandmas to be in a position that they don't have to be in. Again, there's nothing wrong with woman power, but if we step up and we step in and we do what we need to do, a lot of the stress and a lot of the things that these women are doing, they wouldn't have to do, because they would be more of a helpmate, because that's why they were put here to begin with. So if we can shake ourselves up and hold ourselves accountable and do the things that we need to do as men, then that'll make life a whole lot easier. So what changes would happen? I would see just small changes amongst your household, small changes amongst the community and the neighborhood, small changes in the schools, small changes in the official offices, and then it just spreads. Because if you plant an apple seed, you're not going to get a watermelon. So whatever seeds you're planting, make sure you're intentional about those seeds and that it's positive, and that you're giving back to your kids, that you're spending time with your kids, that you're listening to your kids, that your kids come to you first. It's too many kids going other places before they come to the people that they need to come to, meaning dad. I'm sorry, anybody can be a father, but dad is where it starts. Every little girl is a daddy's baby. That's cliche too, but I think it and I hold it true. My daughter's 19, and I guarantee she's still a daddy's baby. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have trials. Nothing's gonna be perfect. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand that. But again, the key word is being intentional about what you're doing. And I just trying to press this on really strong because every show, every conversation that I have, which we're going to call King Conversations, I'm going to have guests in the future on my show, and I'm going to sit shoulder to shoulder with some men, even women, and they're going to be called King Conversations because that's what we are. We're kings. And if we iron sharpen iron, then everybody that's listening can have the opportunity to self-reflect and to give back and to pour into somebody else's life. And then if we have young ladies here, because again, I'm not discriminating to anybody, we'll call those candid conversations. So if you're interested in joining me and you have something you want to talk about, if you want to be on the show, if you want to be a guest, one, you can inbox me at the Reach Podcast Show on Instagram. And Facebook is not up and running yet, but it will be today. And then also on the YouTube page. And a lot of y'all know my personal, or you can inbox the Dad Chronicles page, whatever you may want to do. And then you can also email the Reach Podcast Show at gmail.com if you have any ideas, if you have any suggestions. And then I'll give you guys a number too. I actually want people to call in today. If you're out there and you're listening, you have anything you want to say, any type of opinion or information you want to give, then of course you want to be able to call in. And I'll let you know if we'll be able to get around to that today. But just moving forward with that. So other changes that would happen is that what happens is it's a domino effect. So as men are stepping up and doing what they need to do, they become an inspiration to the next person. They have the ability to infect young kids within their home, again, young kids in their community. And then that cycle is just going to go on and on and on and on and on. And a lot of people say one person can't change the world, but I choose to believe against that. You know, it's just how strong of an impact that you have. And that's the point of this show, is an impact and what we're going to do with that impact. What type of positivity you're going to bring to the table. So going back to something else, my quote of the day is going to be, challenges are what makes life interesting, but it's overcoming those is what makes life meaningful. So when you encounter challenges, you don't need to look at it as the end of the world. You don't need to look at it as, woe is me. All you need to do is put 10 toes down and stand firm, not only on your beliefs and your upbringing, but also definitely on the word of God. You got to be able to understand that if you're deeply rooted, then nothing can uproot you. Of course, the wind is going to blow. That's going to blow. That's why the trees sway side to side. But as long as you're not rattled out of your foundation, then you can live to fight another day. So it's very, very, very important that we take that seriously and that we move in a way to where our intention and then our purpose is to keep fulfilling our destiny and our purpose in life. Because no matter what, nothing can take you away from that. It's up to you to decide to wake up every day and create your own energy and move in ways that you want to move, because nobody can decide how you feel. Nobody can take away your joy. Nobody can take away your peace. And again, a lot of this stuff is self-therapy for me, because we all go through things. And again, it's what you choose to do with it. It's how you choose to operate in those times and what you stand on. So as men, if we set the standard and we set the stage in regards to how things should be handled, you got everything from households being better, less marriages falling apart, better relationships throughout the community. And I can't say it enough, not to make it sound just like I'm all about men. But again, the point that I'm making is that we are the head and that everything should start with us, and we should take accountability for everything that comes down after that. Again, I'm guilty of certain things. We all have past. We all have things that we go through. But again, if you just step up and do what you need to do, we can recreate the future, and we can carve out a path that's going to be better for all the kids and all the people that we come in contact with. So that's my take on that. I can't really see. Let me see if there's any comments that we want to address. Give me 1 second here, because I don't want to not speak on it. Phones are down this week. We will have you guys calling in at another time. So let me get to the live and see if there's anything we'd like to speak on right now. Being there, getting involved with the movement. Let's see. I appreciate y'all. We are the head, and that everything. That's playing back. So I see Mike. I appreciate it. Mike Jose, I appreciate you, man. He's saying that's absolutely right. And this is a brother of mine that I know takes care of his kids, and he's 10 toes down with his. And so it's very important that we own that, you know. So I appreciate you guys tuning in on that, and what we'll do is we'll address some of those comments a little bit later in regards to what's being said. But y'all can see it on the live. I can't really see the comments right now, so y'all forgive me. We'll iron out the kinks and how to work this later. Also, Chronicle of the Week is what I'm going to call it. One thing that I consider amazing is history and all the things that you can find out when you read up on history, or if you're paying attention what's going on. So my Chronicle of the Week goes out to a man, and ironically is my sister Jay Boogie's grandfather. You know, if y'all watched the Astros game today in the 4th inning, this man is 92 years old. He's a World War II vet. Excuse me, but I forget the years. I think it was 1940 something, and I think she mentioned it earlier. So he will be honored today at the game. So again, that's another reason I know Stroh's gonna win. Okay, the Astros are gonna win. But no, shout out to him. That is my Chronicle of the Week in regards to him serving in World War II and being 92 years old and being able to get out there, being honored on the field. Again, that's gonna happen in the 4th quarter, and that speaks to heritage and legacy and the tone that he set amongst his family, which are the type of things that I'm talking about. I don't know if y'all caught Jay Boogie's show today, but her and Ms. Marva, they were on the show talking about some of the things that I'm talking about now. And the other thing too is that when you set out intentionally, or you have to change your life, or you make a life change, you can't worry about what other people are saying about it. You know, you got to be brave, you got to be bold, you got to have purpose behind yourself, and know that no matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing it in God's way, that nothing else matters. You know, it's your mission that you're on, it's your purpose that you're living out, it's your destiny that you're living out. So you can't let anyone take that away from you, and you got to stand firm in those things. Because if you can't do that, then you have nothing. You know, because if people are not supporting you, then you got to understand that with them not supporting you, that doesn't mean that it's not supposed to happen. What that means is it's just not for them. And it's ironic, because these are some of the things that that they were saying on the show this morning. I was listening for a little bit, trying to get ready for the show, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing. You know, because that's what it really is. There's going to be people that you think are supposed to support you. You think there's going to be people that will respect the changes that you make. And again, this goes for men and women, but it's not going to always be that way. So you have to stand firm within yourself and know that no matter what you're doing in regards to God's will, that nothing can come against that. So it doesn't really matter what somebody is or isn't doing for you, as long as you're moving in the way that God wants you to move. And then another thing that I wanted to share this morning is it's just funny how God works. So another brother of mine, I woke up this morning, and this man gets up early. Shout out to Brother Wash. He sent a text to a group of my friends. We have a circle of men that we text, we talk about men stuff, we talk about sports, we clown around, whatever the case may be. And haven't talked to him in a while, but we text, and you know, we see each other on Facebook. But as far as the straight connectivity together, we haven't had that in a little while. And so I just found it funny, and I just took it as a sign from God that, like, man, you know what? The morning of my show, we received this text, and I just want to read it. It said, "Good morning, my brothers. Love you all. What are we doing to work on our future or your future? We need to keep pushing and praying. We need to focus on being better, doing better, and making better decisions for ourselves. Let's focus and work hard. Enjoy life and much love. Wash," because his last name is Washington, so we call him Wash. Again, shout out to Mr. Alfred Washington for that message this morning, because that spoke a lot to me in regards to, again, coming on the show for the first time this morning. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, I'm just sharing some things in regards to what I want my platform to be about and the mission that I'm on. And to receive that text from Brother Wash this morning, it was just more confirmation, you know, because a lot of times as men, we're afraid to share our feelings. We're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid to let people know what we're really thinking, because we feel like we got it all together. But something I want all our men out there to think about too, another thing is, behind every strong man, there's also a very strong woman, or some form of strong support. You know, when we get out here and we're going wayward too much, it doesn't work like that. So again, like he's saying in the text, what are we doing to better ourselves? It's very important that we start with self. You know, you self-reflect, you do an assessment on yourself, and you identify those things that you need to work on. That's step one. So like I said, if men step up, what changes would happen, and what does that look like? So again, what it looks like is stopping where you're at, recognizing no matter how good of a man you think you are, no matter how bad of a man you think you are, or no matter how you think you can't infect change, to recognize, number one, that you can, self-identify the things that it takes to make those changes, then we have to own it. That's another thing. And again, me being guilty of that as well. You have to consciously make a decision that you're going to make the change, acknowledge it, own the things that you need to change, and work on those things. None of us are perfect. None of us are going to be perfect ever in life. But what we can strive for is perfection. So if we own those things that we need to change, and then we start working on it, and then be consistent, y'all hear my sister talk about that all the time, consistency, so if you step out and you be consistent with the things that you need to do for yourself, then you also are doing it not for self, but to help the next person, to help the next man, to help the next kid, to help that next young lady, the next young man that are coming up behind you, which leads me and segues me into, again, what I'm doing with the Dad Chronicles movement. So shout out to Michael again for mentioning the idea. We've started the chess club, and for those who follow me, y'all understand what we're doing, and it's all about critical thinking, which everything goes back to that. If you're critically thinking about the things that you have to do in life, what we're teaching these kids with these chess boards and the pieces on the chessboard is the same way you position your pieces. People are going to start off in a certain way in your life, and they're going to move forward to engage with you and stand with you, or they're going to move forward to engage with you and come against you. So you have to be mindful of how you're moving. You have to use critical thinking. You have to understand that everybody that's in your platform, everybody that's in your circle, they're there for a certain reason. And you position yourself, and you have to think, how do I want to position myself for the win? How do I want to position myself to overcome? You got to understand why your mom's in your life, why your dad's in your life, why that counselor's in your life, why your sister's in your life, why your homeboy up the street is in your life, why your friend at the salon is in your life. And you have to position these people, and more importantly, position yourself and align with the reasons why that they're in your life, so that way you can leverage those relationships, because that's what it's all about. It's all about relationships, not necessarily the leverage that you get from it or the support system that you get from it. But you got to understand, when you're moving about life, it's the same way you're moving about in chess. Wrong moves put you in wrong situations. And again, nothing is ever going to go perfect. Sometimes you have to go back on the chessboard. Sometimes you have to go back in life. Then you move back forward and you make better decisions. So every Sunday from 2 to 4, we are instilling into these kids advantages, opportunities, strategies, and the ability to use their minds more than they're using anything else. And again, a lot of kids these days are on the game. Hey, there's really nothing wrong with that. If we think about it, we're living in a technology world these days. So an idea for parents is that if you have a kid who's just on the game all the time, because I can attest, I got one who's like that too, get involved with them. Challenge them to create a game, challenge them to master the game, challenge them to compete online, challenge them to get into contests, but also you want to dictate how much of that time they're using for that too, because that's important as well. Get them out exposed to something like a chess club. Sports and all that is cool. We want to make sure that our kids know more than the standard cliches. Again, sports, video games, rapping. Let's expose them to other things about being entrepreneurs. Let's expose them to a tea party. Let's expose them to getting out and doing community work and community service and giving back to others, because again, everything that we do is designed to help the next person, or it should be designed to help the next person. In the studio by myself, so the interaction that I wanted to have, we won't have today, but that's okay. So again, I hope you guys are commenting. I will be going back looking at those comments. Just wanted to kind of mention that right now. And, we can interact on social media about anything that we're talking about right now, because again, this platform is designed for me to just talk. I'm not here just to have a platform. I'm here on a purpose. So I want to hear back from you guys that are watching in, my listeners and the audience. So please give your opinions, whether it's straight or narrow, whether it's broad or direct. Just give me your comment, whether I like it or not. I got tough skin. So let's talk about it. It's a dialogue, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. So that way we can move forward. We can make progression in all the things that we're doing, because nothing is about one person's opinion. Everything is a plethora of everybody coming together in their thoughts and their ideas. And again, like I said, building relationships. But so just going back to it is that if we are smart and we are mindful of the things that we're doing, then we can make a whole lot of situations that don't necessarily work for our good. Instead of having disconnection amongst different conversations and different people that you deal with, if you intentionally come together and have the idea to work better together, intentionally have the mindset to help each other and be genuine about it, then things could change, and that's another thing. If we can stop pulling each other down as men, I hate to say it, maybe it is, maybe it's not, I don't know. There may be somebody out there right now like, man, who does he think he is, blah, 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 blah. Well, hey, man, God bless you. You know what I'm saying? I understand your position, but what I hope is that something changes along those lines for you, because there's going to come a time in your life where you're doing something that you're going to want support, you're going to be passionate about, you're going to be purposeful about. And just think about, if you never, ever, ever got one individual to support you, how would you feel about that? So we got to stop the hating. We got to stop the crab mentality. We got to stop pulling each other down. We got to come together, and we got to be, again, intentional. I'm going to keep saying that. And this segment here, and this episode, or whatever we want to call it, I just wanted to set a strong presence that when you see me, hold me accountable, because my intention and my mission and my vision is all about the change and the betterment of men as a community and as a whole, because I wholeheartedly believe that if we're doing that as men, there's nothing that can go wrong with any situation that we get involved with. And again, speaking on that, while I'm doing what I'm doing, it's a lot of ladies that support the movement, and it's just funny. I think about that too. I get so many ladies that are commenting, they're happy for it, and on the men's side, you get the like button. I see y'all, I appreciate it. What I want is for you to talk. I want you to type. I want you to call me. I want you to inbox me. I want you to tell me, hey, man, you're not doing this right. You need to do this. And then I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm not going to tell you, forget you, this is my movement, something. It's all about engagement. And I said that from day one when I created the Dad Chronicles Facebook page. Again, today's show won't be going like this in the future, but I had to set a strong precedence today in regards to what I'm doing. And of course, I'm by myself right now. I'm going to bring in somebody here in a minute. Got me a special surprise guest coming on in a second. But it's very important that y'all take this seriously, especially my brothers, especially my men. Just on average, the women, they already get it. So I appreciate y'all again. And I think it would be just amazing the changes that would happen if we have strong men, strong personalities stepping up and doing a lot of the things that we see women doing. And I mean, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And I know it's a societal thing. I know the system has set it up this way, and, all these propagandas that come against us. But hey, guess what? How is that going to change? Because what we're doing is we're playing into it. If we keep playing into it, if we keep falling for the trap, then that's just what it's going to be. Nothing's going to change. So again, you have to be intentional about it. So like I said, I'll be going back, looking at comments. We'll be talking. Hit me up on the inbox, hit me on the email, whatever you need to do, and if you have a purpose-filled discussion you'd like to have, I like to have y'all any Thursday. I'm here from 11 to 12. I know that's midday. Some people may not be able to do it. But again, guess what? Another part of life is sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So if you just have to sacrifice, if it's that important to you, we'll make it happen, because that's important too. And there's a few other things that I'll talk about in a minute. But I like to bring my man on. Shout out to Mr. Nice here, DJ Nice. I appreciate you rolling in on GMT Radio and setting everything up for me. He coming in. He's all over the place this morning. So y'all give a shout out to my man Nice. He's joining in with me. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. So I guess Nice, tell them about you, who you are and what you do, and
man, you know. Basically just K Nice, man. Everybody call me Nice. Been doing this thing for a minute. Podcast, radio, just broadcasting, period. Glad to have you a part of the team.
Appreciate it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely glad to have you a part of the team. you came on, you hopped on, and you get into it. So that's what I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy providing a platform so people can actually get on here and share whatever it is that they want to share to the world.
Right. And I appreciate that, man. And we had a conversation about it, and I'll go and let it be known. Jay Boogie already put me out there once,
Right.
K Nice asked me, he was like, man, I've been watching you and Jay Boogie, hear me talk on her show a little bit, and he's like, you want to do a spot? And I was like, I might do that, and it was just real casual, and he gave me his information. I went back to Jay Boogie, I asked her about it, and she's like, yeah, because it's all about decency and order again. I ain't want to step on no toes. So fast forwarding, we had another conversation. Come to find out, y'all had a conversation,
right.
And she asked me again over the course of probably about a month and a half since we was out there in Greenspoint, and not Greenspoint, Acres Home,
right?
And I was like, not right now. I ain't ready, But she's like, what you mean you ain't ready? You do this all the time on my show, and there's nothing to be ready for. You're already ready. So, I just appreciate y'all pushing, and understanding that there's a reason and a good purpose behind it. So,
right. Just listening to the podcast this morning, I mean, I didn't know what to expect, you know what I'm saying? Because we just said, let's run with it, you know what I'm saying? But listening to everything, it sounds like it's going to be really, really beneficial for those that's really just in tune to the youth, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, like I said, I'm glad to have this as a part of the platform. Of course, we got other type of shows. You know what I'm saying? We run all type of shows on here because we're just a platform. But this is one show that I think that's really gonna do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let me put this out there: I'm not a DJ because you call me DJ.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I am not a DJ. You know what I'm saying? I don't DJ. I don't do none of that. So I just don't want people calling me, hey man, can I book you for a party? Yeah. I can get you DJ.
Right. My bad on that. I thought about it when I said it too. It's K Nice.
Yeah. I just make sure, like I said, I just provide the platform.
Right. He's running the ship, man. You're doing a great job at that too.
Man,
so
I appreciate it.
He had everything set up for me, man. This is all him. I appreciate that.
I told you when you come in, you don't have to do nothing. You just come in and get to do what
Absolutely.
you do.
Sit down. That's exactly what happened. Came in, sat down, got a little, as the women say, got my powder puff together, which is, just the organization. So definitely appreciate that. Question I would have for you is, and you've kind of heard everything that I've been saying this morning, but it goes back to the question at hand. For you personally, men stepping up, what changes and what happens? What would you say to that?
Yeah, man, just stepping up, period, and taking that role as a father. You know what I'm saying? We can be there, but we're not really fathers. You know what I'm saying? We can be there and be in tune to the game. We don't make time for our kids.
Right.
And it's more to just being in a room. You know what I'm saying? You have to sit down. You have to talk. My daughter's 26, and she because I sat down with her. We sat down at the table. We ate together.
Right.
We had not lunch. We ate dinner. And she remember all of that.
That's the things they remember.
And I'm like, dang, you remember that?
Yeah.
And she like, yeah. I mean, and those things that we don't think mean a lot to them, it means a lot. It'd be the real small things, like sitting down and just having a sandwich.
Absolutely.
So things like that, it touched me down just even thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah, because she remembered.
Yeah, and I'll speak on that. This beautiful young lady right here, my mother.
Right.
She might not even remember, but not only having dinner, but again being intentional.
Right.
Because man, I have a large family and I have a lot of cousins.
Right.
But none of them are cousins. They're all brothers and sisters.
Right.
So a lot of people, I thought you was my only child. I am, but all my cousins are my brothers and sisters. Okay.
Right.
And at some point in time, a lot of them stayed with us. So when we have dinner, and again, she may remember or not, you can't sit and watch TV and eat together.
Right.
You got to sit at the table. Everything got to be off. You got to engage. But now we're all at the table. We doing this.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We're in an information age. I get it. But it's those small things, like you say, that go a long way because you actually connect.
Right.
You're connected to the phone, but you're not really connected to the person in front of you.
You know what? And I'm gonna say this here. I believe we can say that there's nothing wrong with it, but it is. I mean, if we be honest. If we just put the real out there, it is something wrong with it.
That's true.
You don't have to be on your phone. At least give me 30 minutes.
Right.
At least give me, it's something wrong with you not wanting and me giving you 30 minutes.
Yeah,
You know
and you're
what I'm
right.
saying?
And you're speaking to my point. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with doing it, but there needs to be an isolated time frame where there's no phone.
Yeah,
And another big thing is used to go camping every year.
Right.
I mean, no phones when you go camping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's family time. It's time to enjoy each other.
Right.
You know, just enjoy the nature. And we've been talking about that's something else we got to do. You know,
Right.
get these camp trips going.
Right.
Sleeping in tents. You
Right.
know, because these kids these days they don't know nothing about that.
You know, and I think that just being a parent, I think that if you stand firm on some of the things that you say, you can't say it this week and then not say it next week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't say it today and not say it tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna say it, stand on it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And it eventually they'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They will get it.
Right.
And believe it or not, they'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing that my mom told me when my daughter was first born, my biological daughter, she was like, kids love discipline.
Right.
You know, whether you think so or not, they love discipline because it shows that you can. And when I say discipline, I'm not talking about beating kids or nothing like that, but just making sure that they doing the right thing.
Right.
You know, so it just shows that you care, and I believe it.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know?
And I do too. And again, it goes back to that consistency.
Right.
You know, if you're going to set rules, you know, you got to stick to them.
Right.
You know, and it reminds me of that parent saying, this is going to hurt me more than it hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, but it's true
Right.
because we love the kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
Right.
a lot of things that my mom don't even realize, man, you know, because it was me and her
Right.
for a long time.
Right.
And so the upbringing and the backbone is what's important.
Right.
You know, and that's another reason why I do this. And again, for those who have followed my journey, I have a father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's I'm trying to be respectful too.
Right.
Because the healing process, that's another thing I wanted to talk about, the healing process and what you go through. And again, I'm speaking to the men who may have a situation where you're not there like you want to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trust me, I know and I understand that that's painful. You know, and what we do again is we suppress. So you don't have to do that. You can be intentional about trying to make that change. So my point is in trying to get through my 41 years,
Right.
man, at 35 and up to 40, I still find myself having moments like,
But see, I'm gonna tell you something about the moments. I'm 47, so I'm gonna put that out there. And I went without my dad. But the one thing that I found out that you have to do is you have to accept the fact that whatever happened.
right,
Once you accept that it happened, then you can move forward. Once you accept and forgive, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually move forward. Me, my father wasn't there, but I know him. And it was a time, I think I was 21 and I went through a really bad something mental or something, and it had to do with him. But I forgave him for not being there, and I just accepted the fact that he was not there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can't go back and change. Now, I do have impact on my future,
Right.
and I can say we can develop a relationship now.
now.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Being intentional.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then one thing I'm gonna say about change too, in stepping up to be a man, it also takes the woman to be involved too, because we can't say, you know, I want to step up and be a dad, and then the woman is always saying no to what the father say, or going, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You might say no, you can't do this, and then the mom, you know, and I get it because I got a mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My mom, oh well, go ahead, don't do it. And I talk, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? If I say no, then let it be no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As a father,
Right.
respect my no.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that plays a lot of and grandmothers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just grandmothers. So it plays a lot in your relationship with your kids.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, you know, mothers and fathers should come together and talk it out. And if I say no, then I mean no.
Yep. And that's my thing. Because I understand that, have dealt with it.
Right.
The problem is, to me, and in my opinion, is that either party, whether it's the woman or the man,
Right.
we have to learn to separate our relationship
Right.
and that relationship that we have for the kid.
Right.
You
Right.
know, because no matter what we going through,
Right.
we should be able to turn it like a switch for the kid.
Right.
And if
Right.
that's the other problem. If both sides can understand that and get that,
Right.
a lot of things will change. And then that goes into a whole nother thing, like you say, where there's the woman or there's the man, one person saying this, another
Right.
person saying that.
Right.
That co-parenting thing is very important. And again, what I'll say, and you may agree or may not agree on this, is again, just my life experience and what I've been through and understanding the role
Right.
is that I always say, no matter what, and this easier said than done.
Right, I get it.
For me, no matter what the problem is, I think it starts with us.
Right.
I really do. I don't care what we done or what they done. Right. It starts with us. So again, that's my point. If we're intentional about doing better, now there's gonna be that what we call 10%. You know, I come from the car business, so you know it's gonna be that 10% rule where no matter how good you are, you're gonna have that person that just ain't gonna work with you. You know what I'm saying? But if you are intentional about the things you're trying to do, that's my point. I think we can spearhead a lot of change. You know, and it's gonna take some work. I mean, don't get me wrong.
One thing I found that's easy, if this might it makes sense to me because I did it, is I just let my daughter and I let my kids be themselves.
Right.
And once I let them be themselves, I was able to really like, okay, you like this. I'm not telling you how to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Let me just watch you. Let me just let you be you. And if you're doing something wrong, and one thing that I did, I never whipped my stepdaughter. I've never whipped my daughter. I've always sat down and I verbally.
Right.
Verbally.
Tam up.
Not cursing them out of
no.
But what I did was
just
ask questions.
Yeah.
And what that did was trigger them to start thinking. You know what I'm saying? So why did you do that? So what benefit did you get out of that? So if she did it, you think, look what she is. She got in trouble doing it. He got in trouble doing it. That's where you want to, just making them start thinking. And it seemed to work. It really seemed to work because I didn't come up like that.
Right.
It was shoes, all
boomerangs,
everything. I didn't come. You know what I'm saying? Well, we didn't come up like that. But just sitting down now, these days, and just actually letting kids talk.
Right.
You will learn a lot just by sitting up and just listening.
I was just about to say that too. I pay homage to my mom again. Is that even to this day, we have a type of relationship where even both of us get on each other's nerves sometimes because it's she allowed me to be so open with her and to connect with her to where now, and I can admit, like sometimes she's like, I shouldn't have let you talk so much, because but it's important to, again, let your kids be kids, and parents, and especially fathers in the sports side of it, living vicariously through your kid.
Right.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Your kid have their own identity. It's nothing with letting them know who you were. And again, legacy is legacy. So we want to leave something for our kids, but be open to, just like with music, all these rappers coming up, they're different. We have our opinions about it, but it's them, and they're changing it. Allow them to make the changes they want to make, and support them, so that way they can see where they're going wrong or where they're doing something different that could actually be better, but giving them the opportunity to carry on the legacy in the way they want, because we're going to be gone one day anyway.
And most of the time, there's nothing wrong with change.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with change. I mean, you were raised a certain way. Now you have to change and raise your kids a certain way, because that what happened when we came up. It's totally different.
Yeah,
it's totally different. You got access to so much, just with the click of a button. So we have to look at that. We have to take that into account. You know what I'm saying? We can't force our lifestyle or our past on our kids. We can't. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we just have to sit back. We have to step up.
Yeah.
Be the men, but we also have to let the kids, let the kids be themselves.
Yeah.
And you'll learn. I'm telling you, you'll learn a lot.
Yeah. And I said this the other day. I mean, everybody knows my baby boy, Landon, because I'm intentionally doing things different with him, man. And you've seen him. You know? Man, when I tell you this little boy is a sponge, man. I mean, and another shout out to him. The other day, like, it's so easy for us to give up, so to speak, and we have those days we wake up and we don't want to go to work, and we don't want to do this and we don't want to do that. When I tell you last week, my son was sick as a dog. Okay, coughing, and it went from one cough to a few coughs to a bunch of coughs. And me trying to do what I do, I gave him medicine throughout the day. Washed him, got up a couple times at night, and that morning got up and he was still feeling the way he was feeling. And I woke him up and I was like, Landon, you want to go to school? He was like, I'm like, Landon, you can stay home. As soon as I said you can stay home, that boy said, I want to get up. So it's just funny that the perseverance of kids and what they do, if we allow them to be themselves, it's all about what they see. You know what I'm saying? And so my point with that is he hears what I'm telling him. He sees what his mothers do, his mother does, and we instill in those things to make them understand no excuses. That's another big thing, that with these kids, we got to stop allowing them to have excuses. They can have opinions, they can have a voice, but my dad's not there. That's an excuse,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you not to do something.
Right, exactly.
My mother wasn't there.
Yeah.
My parents were on drugs. I don't believe in none of that, man. I mean, I understand it.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, because we all have a journey that we go through.
Right.
But there's absolutely nothing that can hold you back once you make your mind up.
And just on you saying that, I think my wife thought I was crazy because I told my daughter she got a flat, and I told her, I said, okay, today you finna learn how to change a tire.
Yeah.
So my wife was like, "What, you gonna make her go out there and change?" Yeah. She gonna get out here and change
get out
the
here and
tire.
do it.
I did the lugs, did the everything, but after I did it, she was so excited that she told her friends,
Absolutely.
I changed the flats. And then what I tried to instill is the same thing that you said. What if I'm not here?
What if I'm not here? Because I'm gonna be gone one day.
What if I'm not here?
Yeah.
Learn how to, I know, everybody, all the women, God, take the trash out. Okay, that's good. I'm not tripping. That's cool.
Yeah.
But take it out.
Yeah.
Just
Learn what that's like.
Yeah, just get a feeling, because I might not be here.
Absolutely.
I might, and then also, I don't want you to have to rely on a man
Right.
to do everything for you. You know what I'm saying? I want to teach you how to be not independent, because we all need somebody. You know what I'm saying? But if the man is not, he might be on a job interview or whatever, taking care of some business or whatever, and you can do it. You know what I'm saying? You can do it without him there.
Absolutely.
And then that'll make him respect you.
Don't be
even
scared
more.
to sweat a little bit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That'll make the respect level go even higher.
Absolutely. And going back the opposite way, because like I said, I like for us to, my thing is for us to take responsibility. It works the other way too.
Right.
My mom can attest to this. Combing my little girl's hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Going to the nail shop with her.
Right.
Yeah, man, I can't stand going to the nail shop.
Right.
But, it's, at least if you do it once or twice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They understand that, you know what? He here for me.
Right.
Taking them to the tea party. I took these 3 little girls, man, and once you get into a situation like that, the whole time leading up to it, again, us men, we don't want to be vulnerable.
Right.
Man, I enjoyed myself, man.
Exactly.
And to see that event where these young ladies are in an environment that should actually happen at home, because the other side of it, they were teaching etiquette.
Right.
They're teaching these young queens how to be queens,
Right.
how to be appropriate,
Right.
and to carry themselves like young ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not that you just dressed up at a tea party. You know what I'm saying? There's actually a purpose behind that. And so when I saw that, man, I was just like, man, like, this is amazing. When you remove yourself from certain ways of thinking, it goes a lot deeper, man.
That's called stepping up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's called,
Exactly.
stepping up. You know what I'm saying?
So I was saying in the beginning, I wanted to complete that statement, man, is that I do have a dad, and what I was saying is also when you're trying to fix relationships and you're trying to fix situations, there's things that I used to say that I'm not going to say no more. He wasn't ever there for me,
Exactly.
It ain't about that.
Right.
I have my view. He has his view. And I can respect that at this point.
Right.
So you have to be able to own that. So my only thing, I can only speak my truth though. So out of respect, I just say, I wish there could have been a different impact.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? From me to him, or him to me, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But when you get to bashing people, that's different. Excuse
Right.
me. So, I think that's important if you're trying to fix something, man. Just be intentional about it. Make sure that,
You know what? Sometimes, and then it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Some things can't be fixed, and you just have to accept it.
You have to accept it.
Some things just can't be fixed.
Right.
And if you're trying to fix something, you can, like I said again,
That's
you
that
can start
10%
something
too.
new. You can start something new. The past just can't be fixed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Can't go backwards.
And if you accept it, then I guarantee you'll be able to move forward. I put that on me.
Right.
If you accept it, you'll be able to move forward, because I've been there in the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just learn to move forward, and like I said, some things, for those that's out there that's listening, you're trying to fix things, and some things just can't be fixed.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They are what they are.
They are what they are.
And they make you a certain way. They make you a better person. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They just accept it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And man, we got 4 minutes, man. So I just want to say thank you.
Man,
I know
no
you
problem.
do the hand pound.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. It's probably a couple things I want to say that I'm forgetting. So please
let me
excuse me.
officially say this here, man. Welcome to the GMT Radio Network. Welcome to the family. We got a big team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to say welcome.
Appreciate it.
Officially welcome to the team. And we got some more shows coming today.
Absolutely.
Some more new shows coming today. So definitely, again, man, y'all make sure y'all tune in every single Thursday from 11 to 12,
11
man.
to 12.
I didn't know the show was going to be this way, but yeah, it's very informative as far as the youth. So
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And yeah, like you said, y'all tune in, stay connected with me, man. It won't be like this every week. Right. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be better, and we're gonna grow. You know, like I said, this show is where every show reaches beyond the ears of the listeners. So that's what's important to me. We able to play that one song. So I just want to leave something with y'all. Just remember and keep in mind that the things you're doing with the youth, whether you're your kids or somebody else's kids, whether you're a mentor, a coach, a teacher, a doctor, whoever you are, when you come into these kids' life, man, you are making an impact, and you are leaving something with them. You're making a deposit. So since my mother's in the studio, this lady worked hard for 30 years at a company. Right. And it's probably going to blow her mind away. Get her some tissue, please, because I know she's about to start crying. This is something that when I would come at lunch or at the end of her day or whatever, she would be listening to it all the time. Gotcha. And this goes back to me being, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years old. No, I was able to drive, so I was a little bit older than that. I'd pop up at her job. But this is a shout out to my mom, and this goes out to everybody, man. There's no reason to have any fears or worries if you stay grounded. So y'all check it out. Appreciate you.
It's been a good day. It has been a good day. I've had some heartaches and pain, a little sunshine and rain, some ups, some downs, some smiles and some frowns. But it's been a good day. Yes, it has. Thank you, Lord. Been a good day. Yes, it has. 'Cause I've got my health and strength. And I know that I'll get tired. It's been a good day. And I thank God. It's been a good day. I've been lied on and cheated, talked about and mistreated, up and down, had some smiles, had some frowns.
It's on? Yeah. All right. So again, appreciate y'all. Just wanted to give y'all a snippet of that song, man. Just, music is for the soul. So that's something that stuck with me, and that's just another example of the seeds you plant, they will stick with your kids. So again, Mom, I appreciate you on that. Y'all tune in. This is the Reach Podcast Radio Show. Tune in every Thursday, 11 to 12. And I hope each and every person that was listening, tuned in, got something from the show, man. I'm just trying to do what I do, being God-led and God-fed, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all join us every week. And again, appreciate you, Nice.
No problem.
GMT Radio.